Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking at something pretty new that's cropping up, especially in tech fields like coding. It's this idea called vibe learning.
Yeah, it's definitely gaining some traction. The basic idea is maybe we don't need to go super deep on every single detail anymore. It's more about getting a feel, uh, a vibe for the subject.
Okay, a vibe. So less about memorizing syntax line by line in coding, for example, and more about grasping the big picture.
Exactly. It's tied into this whole AGI era, with AI tools getting so powerful, the thinking is, well, our learning strategy kind of needs to change too.
Right, because you can just ask the AI for the specifics, so the human role becomes different.
That's the core argument. Less about being the encyclopedia, more about knowing how to use the encyclopedia, especially when the encyclopedia is like super intelligent AI.
Interesting. So Frank, the researcher we're looking at today, he seems to think this vibe coding could actually replace traditional coding skills down the line.
Well, yeah, that's a big part of his argument. He talks
Yeah.
about traditional coding education almost being this uh, never-ending hell, his words, because AI is moving so fast.
Wow. Okay, so vibe coding is the alternative, using AI to build things.
Pretty much. Using AI to do the heavy lifting on the code itself. But here's the important bit he stresses. You actually need a broader base of knowledge to do vibe coding well.
Okay, so it's not just about knowing nothing and letting the AI do everything. You need that vibe, that broad understanding to even know what to ask the AI for, right?
Precisely. You need the context. You need to understand the landscape to guide the AI effectively. It's not zero knowledge. It's a different kind of knowledge. Breadth becomes really key.
So this ties into his research paper then, the one on vibe learning, as a methodology for this AGI era.
Exactly. The paper lays out the thinking behind why breadth might be more valuable than depth in many cases now. Think about it. Why memorize tons of integrals if you understand what integration is and does, and AI can calculate any specific one?
Right, the classic why memorize when you can Google, but amplified.
Totally. The paper suggests your brain power is maybe better spent understanding the connections, the applications, the overall structure. This lets you ask smarter questions, frame problems better for the AI.
Makes sense. You're sort of the architect, and the AI is the super fast construction crew.
That's a good way to think about it. And to make this practical, Frank proposes this framework in his paper, the 5-10-15 rule. It's like a set of heuristics for deciding what's worth really digging into.
Okay, 5, 10, 15. Let's break that down. What's the 5 about?
The 5-sentence rule. Basically, if you can't explain a concept reasonably well in about 5 sentences, you might not understand its core yet.
Right.
Or maybe it's just overly complicated for what you need right now.
Ah, like that Einstein quote. If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough.
Exactly that principle. It forces you to distill things down to their essence. He shows this in his YouTube stuff too, like asking an AI for a quick summary of C, plus just the key benefits and uses, not the whole textbook up front.
Get the gist first. Okay. What about the 10? The 10-year forgetting rule.
Right. This one's about prioritizing knowledge that's likely to stick around or be easily refreshed over, say, a decade. Focus on the fundamental, durable concepts.
So don't sweat the small stuff that changes all the time or that you can easily look up, like maybe specific command line arguments for a tool you use occasionally.
Precisely. Why cram your brain with details that have a short shelf life or are instantly accessible via AI? Learn the core principles that underpin things, the stuff that's likely to still be relevant years from now.
Okay, that feels very relevant with how fast tech changes. And the last one, 15. The 15-second re-understanding rule.
Yeah, this ties into the 10-year rule. The
Yeah.
idea is, for knowledge you have learned, even if it was a while ago, you should be able to grasp its core meaning again, like really quickly within about 15 seconds.
So the fundamental understanding, the vibe, should linger, allowing a quick refresh.
Exactly. If you encounter something you supposedly learned, and it takes you ages to figure out what it even is again, maybe that specific level of detail wasn't worth the initial deep dive.
Yeah.
Perhaps that's something you just let the AI handle on demand.
So it's about building intuition. Like Frank uses the example of FFmpeg, that video tool. Understand what it does, convert media, edit, but don't kill yourself memorizing every single command flag.
Right, because you can ask the AI, hey, how do I use FFmpeg to cut the first 5 seconds of this video?
Yeah.
And it'll likely give you the exact command. Your job is knowing FFmpeg is the tool for the job and roughly what you want to achieve.
Okay, this paints a clear picture. It's a significant shift in what learning means. It's less about accumulating facts and more about building a conceptual map and learning how to navigate it with AI tools.
Absolutely. Your primary skill becomes guiding the AI, asking the right questions, interpreting the results, checking if they make sense. You're more of a director or a strategist.
So Frank's argument isn't just theoretical, he's actively pushing this vibe coding approach.
Well, yeah. He's quite critical of how long traditional methods take before students can build useful things. He advocates for jumping into projects much sooner, using AI as a partner.
And this 5-10-15 rule is the foundation for how you learn the concepts needed to guide that AI effectively during those projects.
Exactly. It's the learning methodology designed to support this new way of working and creating, particularly in technical fields where AI is becoming so capable. It's about learning just enough, just in time, with a focus on durable understanding.
It's definitely a different way to think about acquiring skills, especially something like coding, which traditionally seems so demanding on memorization and detail.
It is, and the argument is that this approach lowers the barrier to entry and allows people to be productive much faster, focusing on the creative and problem-solving aspects rather than getting bogged down in syntax minutiae initially.
So to wrap up the core idea from Frank's work, focus on breadth, get the vibe, use the 5-10-15 rule as a guide for what to internalize deeply versus what to access via AI, and see your role as guiding the AI rather than knowing every detail yourself.
That nails it. It's a methodology proposed for a future where partnering with AI is likely the norm, not the exception.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? How might this apply to how you learn? If you could offload some of the detailed memorization to AI, focusing instead on understanding the big picture and how to ask the right questions, what new things could you tackle? It's a provocative thought about adapting our own learning habits for what's coming.